You right there, ladies and gents, how is it going? I'm out on my little tow rag, as you can see. Not been out on this for a little bit, not been out on this since the ABR. And I thought it was about time I gave it a little bit of a spin. Just going to be a short one today. Going off to get myself something to munch on up at Newlands corner. And I thought I'd bring you along with me and hit a couple of trails on the way. All very easy stuff, nothing mega usual route, but just a couple of trails to give me some interest on this little route over to Newlands.
Keep that bike rubber side down.
Yeah, so there's been quite a lot of change on the channel recently, with swapping out my AS for another adventure bike, although a road going one, my XSR turning up after ordering that back in December. Yeah, it's all good news really for the channel and for me. I mean, I don't change my bikes for the channel, I change them for me, but obviously it mixes things up a little bit for you that are watching. Hopefully it means that there's enough variety that you enjoy all the stuff that I put out as opposed to just niche stuff. But it does mean that if you do join for a specific bike, it's short-lived. Well, certainly if you're here for the AS. Apologies to you AS owners. Obviously the V Strom is a very similar motorcycle, as in same engine, very similar frame and all that, but it is quite a different motorcycle. Yeah. I still love the AS. It is still very much a favourite of bikes I've owned, but it's just, it wasn't for me. Oh man, adventure bike rider sitting down on a trail, what's going on? Can't be a real adventure rider. Something I always sort of tried to train myself to do back when I had my Beta Alp was to stand up on all the lanes, not because I needed to, but I wanted to build that muscle memory that that was a good stable position to be in. I'll stand up for this lot, this is slimy. Oh. Yeah, well slippery. Oh, I'm concentrating in now. I think that's the worst of it, but I don't want to count my chickens. But yeah, I trained myself to stand up as the default position, and I think that was a good bit of discipline for myself, because it meant that when things got tough, I instinctively stood up rather than sat down, and obviously you got a much better stance, better use of the suspension, and better grip as well, because you're able to control where your weight is a little bit better and all that sort of stuff. Not trying to make it sound like I'm an expert or anything, I'm very much not. Mediocre motorcyclist at best. I know a lot of you say, oh no you're not, you're quite good. You want to watch some of them Dakar guys, they're quite good. See, look at me, I'm just wobbling around here. But yes, I, at the time of this recording, I haven't quite yet picked up the new V Strom, but it is about to happen. I hope this week. And yeah, looking forward to finishing running that one in, and getting its first service done. It's already actually halfway through its running process. It's an ex-demo, but they did offer to service it before I picked it up. But I'm like, no, I'd rather do the full 600 miles, get a feel for the bike and know if there's anything that they need to sort out on that first service, as opposed to have them just do the default stuff. But yes, I've stripped down the 8S, it's all back to standard, or as much standard as it's going to get back to. Got the exhaust off. I've already had someone asking me if I wanted to sell the exhaust, and I might well do that to them. But I want to see if it fits the V Strom. I mean, it's the same engine, very, very similar frame. Yeah, it might not, and if it doesn't, I'll sell it and then just replace that with something else. But yeah, it's it'll be an interesting experiment to see if you can get the full Akrapovic decat system to work on the V Strom, because currently the only Akrapovic option is a slip-on silencer for it. Now if I was trail riding it then I wouldn't mind that because it'll be a bit quieter than a decap. Says me on the Aprilia with full decap baffles removed out on the trail. Oh, this is nice, this is nice. It's just a little afternoon. I was on a night shift last night, and the first day off today of a few, and then back in on days later on in the week, and I just like to make the most of my time off, even if it's just a little bimble like this one today to a biker cafe of some sort. Yeah, I'm really quite glad that my shift pattern ties in with the West Beach Cafe's bike nights. My shift pattern is a 4-week cycle, so this year, assuming they don't change anything, we should be able to get to pretty much every single bike night down there throughout the summer, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, bike nights aren't everyone's cup of tea, I know, but it's just quite nice to have an evening thing to do on a motorcycle, isn't it? Yeah, it's nice to have an evening thing to do on a motorcycle, just so that you're not just eat, drink, sleep, repeat, eat, drink, sleep, repeat all the time. And I am a man who likes his beer, so having an excuse to not have any beer is quite nice for me. Oh, it's well overgrown along here, much worse than it was last time I come down this way. Mind you, that was a few weeks ago now, and we have had a lot of rain and a bit of sunshine, I guess. Certainly been warm. Oh, that was very good. I can't remember exactly when it was that I put the Karoo 4 on, but it wasn't a huge amount of time ago, and I've not ridden this bike an awful lot. Not ridden it an awful lot at all. So I am quite surprised to find that, one, it is incredibly noisy, more so than the Moto's tyres are, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned. And it wears really fast, so fast in fact that it is now handling worse than the Moto's RAL Z that I took off. Yeah, the Moto's RAL Z is obviously, it's a more dirt focused tyre, so it's got big old blocks of tread on it, and it meant that the bike would walk a little bit when you're riding on tarmac. And this has started to do that as well. Now the centre of the tyre has got worn and the edges are still quite chunky. Yeah, the bars kind of oscillate from side to side. It's not so bad at the moment, but at slower speed it's really horrible, and on some roads it just seems to be a worse thing. I mean, I can feel it in the bars, you might not be able to see it, but there is definitely a wobble going on, and it's just horrible. It's just horrible. This is my thoughts kind of behind putting just a more mud and dirt tyre on this, possibly back to the Motors of some sort or another. One, because they last ages, and two, they are very good off-road. And then I'll have the V Strom with 100% road bias rubber, so I'll not be compromising on either. And then, okay, yeah, the ride up to the ABR on this will be a bit rubbish. I'd rather, if I'm doing a distance trip, to have a bike that's better suited for that, and if I'm doing a distance trail trip, just then you deal with the consequences and the compromise of having a trail bias tyre, don't you? But as far as grip goes on the tarmac, I was not disappointed with the Karoo 4. It was fine, and while it was new, the handling was okay. It didn't last very long, and the handling's turned to crap again. So yeah, I don't really see the point in having that compromise on off-road grip performance to have like 1500 miles of okay road stuff, and then start having the horribleness again. Well, I am kind of wishing that I hadn't bought a pair of them though, because I didn't put the rear on, so that means I've got a brand new rear sitting at home. I'm not quite sure what to do. I might get another Karoo 4 front, put the both of them on until they die, and then switch back to motors. I don't know, or I might just try and sell it. One of my mates, and also a fellow motovlogger, a chap called Epic Adam Motovlogs, he recently put a video up that for channels our size went kind of viral, where he sort of implied that he was a bit bored of riding bikes, and I'm not sure if he meant just on that particular ride or whether he meant overall, but it was an interesting video, that's for sure. And some of the comments on it were a bit spiteful, to be honest, and I'm wondering why. I don't know why people get so upset when people say something that doesn't affect them in the slightest. Yeah, I mean, I was like taking a look at my comment just to make sure I wasn't being a bit mean. I thought hopefully I was being constructive, and when I reread it, I think I was being kind of constructive in it. I'm just sort of saying to mix it up a little bit, do some different things. I mean, he's got two motorcycles. He's got a Himalayan and a VFR 800, and both bikes are incredibly capable machines. And I think a lot of people were hating on the fact that he had a Himalayan, and you're just like, don't hate on someone's choice of a motorcycle just because it's not your choice. It's a perfectly valid motorcycle. I mean, I wouldn't personally choose a Himalayan currently because there's other things that would do that, the role that bike is capable of, differently and more suitably for me. But it doesn't mean it's wrong for someone else. Yeah, people are very judgmental and they don't actually look at the whole picture or the whole story, sort of thing. They just assume they know best and just go at it, go at people, and you're just like, just shut up, stop being a mean wanker. Cool, Newlands is open. Nice. Gonna get myself a cup of tea. Well, that was a hole filler, little cheeseburger and a blueberry muffin, and that's a view. A very nice one. With what I was saying about the tyres on there, so I just find it odd how much is transformed so quickly with handling on that Crew 4. And I am due service soon in a few hundred miles, so we'll get Brian Moto to give the bike a full check out and make sure it's not anything else. I would have thought that if it was a wheel bearing that was going, that would play havoc with the ABS because of the ABS disc and the stuff on the front wheel. So I don't think it's a wheel bearing issue. It could, I guess, be steering head bearings, and these things do need periodically checking. I guess I've been lazy really, because I've known it's got the big service coming up, the 12,000 mile service, and when it has that, it'll be having the valves done and all that sort of stuff, so we'll be getting a big old strip down from Brighton Moto then. Yeah, well, still being lazy, Pete. You're a big boy now, acting like one. Oh, well, I guess kind of that's it really. If you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. If you like the video, give it a big old thumbs up. If you've got one of these, let me know what you think my issue is with the front end, whether it's the bearings, the tyre, or something else. Anyhow, like I say, give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Please drop in a comment whether you got one of these or not, whether you just like watching videos. Yeah. Anyway, rubbish, stone chippings, crap speed limits, I guess that's it. So you ride safe, take care, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.
Keep that bar. Rubber side down. You know, you gotta keep that bar. Rubber side down.
This is quite lovely, isn't it? I really shouldn't moan about having boring green lanes where I live and doing them on rinse and repeat, because we'll get to ride to all these lovely little locations. Look at them chimneys. Oh yes. Oi boy!